Welcome to Rice TVX. On today's Rice Report, it's going to be a little bit of an economics 101 lesson. We're going to be talking about inflation, deflation, disinflation. Someone suggested stagflation, and much more. Now, if you're just tuning in from the replay of the live stream, I would recommend go ahead and fast forwarding to about the 4-minute, 20-second mark. Going to give time for everybody to get situated in today's live stream and going to be playing a couple promo videos. And first off, we have a few quick messages from the sponsors of Rice TVX, and you can find information down below in the video description for BitSwap DEX for Monarch and Presearch.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing.
To be transparent, kind of messed up that BitSwap pre-roll, but you can find information at bitswapdex.com. I'll go ahead and I will replay the BitSwap DEX pre-roll at the end of the video as well, just so we can get the full video going on. But I do appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe. And real quick, before we get the stream started, if this just happens to be your first time ever watching any of my videos, I do encourage you to check out and explore my channel. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos as they come out. Also, due to all the recent censorship, make sure you subscribe to my backup channel, Rice TVX2, the sequel. And I've also recently deleted more than half of my videos on my main YouTube channel, which means you can find 100% of my content plus exclusive videos over on Odyssey and Library. If you haven't already, be sure to visit ricetvx.com and sign up for the mailing list so that you never miss an update or new Rice TVX content. You can also find all my social media links as well as merchandise that is coming soon. If you'd like to support the channel directly, consider joining my Patreon, where I have 3 different levels of membership, or if you'd like to send a direct contribution or tip, I have my Cash App information, PayPal, and my CoinTree link for cryptocurrency addresses listed below in the video description. Oh, yeah, and it is good to be back. I just took a vacation last week. Some of you may know I went to Nags Head, North Carolina. A lot of history there. Had a great, relaxing vacation. Came back a little unmotivated to get back to work, but I did a live stream earlier on BitBoy Crypto's channel for Around the Blockchain. Did that today at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, and I'm going to be on there again this coming Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Monday through Friday, they do Around the Blockchain. I'm usually on every Friday, but I wasn't on last week due to my vacation. So check that episode out. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I do want to let people know that, obviously when I was on vacation, I was working ahead and I put out some videos. So if you haven't checked those videos out, make sure you check those out. And I'll be doing a screen share here in just a moment showing what I'm talking about. Did an interview with David Williams that came out this past Friday. Have Agro Light Hacker, the founder of Splinterlands, and also Brian Parker from Sovereign Tactical. I think I said all that correctly. So if you haven't checked those out, be sure to check those out. Make sure you're signing up for the mailing list so that you don't miss any content that I'm putting out. I haven't sent out a newsletter yet. That's going to be starting here very soon. But make sure you're signing up for the mailing list. I'm live streaming right now on Rice TVX and Rice TVX2. So make sure you subscribe to both YouTube channels. Rice TVX2 is the backup channel. And I'm actually posting up extra content there. This interview with Eric Sullivan from Kool-Aid and these 2 Freedom Spotlights, one with E3 and one with Real Spiritual Gangster. They're on Rice TVX2, and they're also available on Odyssey and Library. Speaking of Odyssey, make sure you follow me there. I have my full catalog. All of my videos are there. I deleted more than 60% of my videos from YouTube just due to censorship and strikes. And you can find all my content plus videos I get to share over here on Odyssey. I am on BitChute. I've only got 2 videos there. I'm probably going to be uploading some more videos, more of the highly viewed content on YouTube. I'll be sharing there. And if you want to support the channel directly, be sure to check out my Patreon, where I have 3 different levels of membership. And I'm going to be changing up a little bit about this. So just pay attention. If you're currently a patron, all the super patrons, I'll be in touch with you to schedule you for a Freedom Spotlight or a consultation or whatever you want to do in regards to that. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, scrolling across the bottom of the screen, you can see I have my PayPal, my Cash App, and my CoinTree link for all my cryptocurrency addresses, which also have social media links as well. And real quick, I wanted to do a quick promo for Money Metals Exchange, because this is when I talk about this video and ways that you can protect yourself. Precious metals, gold and silver, have proven themselves as a safe haven asset, as a store of wealth. And I always encourage people to take advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. So what I'm going to do real quick is I have a really quick promo that I like to play just to inform everybody, just in case you're new to the channel or you haven't taken advantage of this deal. Take advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. You can get a free ½ ounce of silver. Free ½ ounce of silver. So listen up. Take advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. Get your free ½ ounce of silver. All you need to do is be a first-time buyer. Visit moneymetals.com. Purchase a minimum of $100 and use the promo code. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Let me try to play this again, because apparently I'm having some interference issues. Let me know if you're having problems hearing this, or if it's chopping in and out. Take advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. Get your free ½ ounce of silver. All you need to do is be a first-time buyer. Visit moneymetals.com. Yeah, it seems like I'm having issues here, so I'm not sure what's going on. Carlos, thanks for tuning in from around the blockchain. I appreciate. The channel is much more than crypto, but crypto is a big part of the channel. I have 3 separate shows, so I encourage you to explore my channel. This is the Rice Report, where I talk about economics and politics and things to that effect. So it doesn't look like I'm able to play that full ad, but basically you go to moneymetals.com. If you're a first-time buyer, you purchase a minimum of $100. So we're talking like 4 ounces of silver. Use the promo code RICE, R-I-C-E. You get a free ½ ounce of silver. It's a way to support the channel. It's a way to protect yourself. Because again, gold and silver have proven themselves to be a safe haven asset, a store of wealth, especially against what I'm about to talk about. So everything that I'm going to be talking about is linked down below in the video description, and I definitely encourage you to do your own research, read these articles in full, because I'm not going to be going over the entirety of these articles. It's just mainly to share some basic information. But ways that you can protect yourself, gold and silver, and things like cryptocurrencies. So if you're interested in cryptocurrencies, I'll offer consultations. And also on my Linktree /Rice Approved is the platforms and services that I recommend for people interested in getting in crypto. Whether it's education, learning how to trade, earning Bitcoin by shopping online, dollar cost averaging, using Swan or Coinbase, exchanges I recommend, and things to that effect. So make sure you're checking that out. Now, the first thing that I wanted to share here was, and again, linked down below, the purchasing power of the US dollar over time. So a lot of people talk about the purchasing power of the US dollar, how it's lost basically 97% of its purchasing power since 1913, when the Federal Reserve came into effect. So you can see this chart here where they're actually using a dollar bill as a back reference. And you can see in 1913 was the Federal Reserve Act, creating a central bank with the ability to manage the country's money supply. Ever since they've gotten in power, you can see it's done nothing but go down. This time period is when we had the Great Depression. This is when President Roosevelt made it illegal for U.S. citizens to own gold and required citizens to sell their gold back to the government. When they did this, they paid $20 an ounce. Once the government was able to confiscate all that gold, they then revalued the price of gold to $35, essentially going up 75%, if I'm saying that correctly, and almost 100%. And basically, the average individual lost money when it came to that particular confiscation of gold. Then we had the Bretton Woods Agreement that established the gold standard and the US dollar as the world reserve currency. Then you can go ahead and fast forward here to 1971, where the gold standard is abandoned and currencies are no longer linked to gold. That's when Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard. It's called the Nixon shock, 1971. We just celebrated the anniversary of that. Well, I wouldn't say celebrated, but the anniversary of that just came about. And this is when the birth of fiat currency, as we know it in today's day and age, came about. That's also when the United States made deals with Saudi Arabia, and the US dollar was used as the currency for all oil trade done in the world. So in case you're unaware of that, then you go ahead and fast forward over here to 2008. That's when we have quantitative easing one beginning because of the financial crisis. And basically the system should have crashed, but it didn't crash because it kept pumping money up, putting everything on life support. And here we are today. In 2020, the U.S. money supply grew by 3.8 trillion in 2020, equal to 20% of all the money ever created. And I think that's a low estimate. I think it's more of 25%, maybe even higher. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. And Andy Lee, thanks for the suggestion on stagflation. I'll definitely be bringing that up here in just a few. So Travis Turner, thanks for tuning in. And Carlos, thank you. I appreciate, man. Thank you for the good feedback. Mama Bear, good to see you. We got 21 viewers, so make sure you smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to both channels. Obviously, I'm dealing with shadow banning, only putting out 3 videos in a 10-day period, 9-day period. YouTube obviously didn't really like that and took me out of the algo favor, which I've already been on. But yeah, Travis, I had a great vacation. I'm refreshed and ready to be back here doing this with you, with everybody, and I appreciate. And this is another visualizer, just basically showing the same thing, a little bit different perspective as far as some of the information. But basically, you're seeing the same kind of situation. It's just the rise and the fall of the US dollar, but it's just been nothing but falling. If you want to consider this a rise, okay, but it's still lower than where it started. So we've been in a decline since the Federal Reserve have gotten into power. Now, this shows the oil crisis in the 70s. This would be like 74. Then the second oil crisis, which took place either late 70s, early 80s. And then we had the dot-com bubble in the late 2000s, late 99, early 2000s. And then we experienced the 2008 situation, which was basically a crash of the system. And now we're in the longest U.S. expansion that we've seen. I started out with quantitative easing, 1 and 2, then 3, then infinity, and here we are. So another thing that I want to let people know is the M2 money stock supply is a way that you can, monitor some of the activities going on within the Federal Reserve, but they have discontinued this. The series is no longer going to be updated. There's no longer going to be any information, which is really strange. And this has been like this for quite some time, but it's got to make you think, like, what is the Federal Reserve hiding? What are they hiding from this entire system? And speaking of that, Mike Maloney just put out a great video. I encourage you to check out his channel, Gold, Silver, Mike Maloney. He's got a series called The Hidden Secrets of Money. I recommend you check that out. Also, Lynette Zhang, who I've had on the channel multiple times. Check out her channel, ITM Trading, wealth of information. George Gammon from Rebel Capitalist. He's got the Rebel Capitalist channel, and George Gammon, and then Gregory Mannarino. These are some people who I respect, who I watch very frequently to get information and updates, and have helped me to understand a lot of what I'm going to be explaining to you today. In addition to, going to school for business administration and then educating myself. So we got inflation and deflation. There's a lot of talk about inflation right now because this is kind of what we're experiencing. And inflation occurs when the price of goods and services rise, while deflation occurs when the prices decrease. So the opposite of each other. Inflation is where you're seeing the price inflate. Think of it as a balloon. So the prices are inflating, getting to be higher prices, and that's what we are experiencing. Deflation would be like the balloon losing the air and everything going the opposite direction, where the dollar would technically have more purchasing power. Goods and services would go down because of the opposite effect of inflation, where goods and services would go up. And this is a Keynesian economics approach, and you can look up Keynesian versus Austrian economics to kind of get a better picture for this. Inflation is an increase in the general prices of goods and services in the economy. Deflation, conversely, is the general decline in prices for goods and services, indicated by an inflation rate that falls below 0%. And both are basically potentially bad for the economy, which is something that I want to get into here in just a moment after I get through with these definitions. But when people talk about the word hyperinflation, we're going to get into that because that is a faster form of inflation. So I started out with just inflation, deflation, and disinflation, because disinflation, I feel like, is a word people are going to be hearing a lot more of. And so I want to give people a little bit better of an explanation for this. Now, again, things like gold and silver have proven themselves to be a store of wealth. A store of wealth is an asset, a commodity, or a currency that maintains its value without depreciating. So if you have, and I've talked in previous videos about gold, but it used to be $20 an ounce, 20 US dollars for an ounce of gold. And obviously that disconnect has gotten pretty big. But you can still buy the same things that you could buy back 1920s for what's equivalent to an ounce of gold today. So you could buy a nice suit back in 1920s for an ounce of gold, about $20. Today you can buy a good suit for about an ounce of gold, which is going for about $1,800. So, but can you buy a nice suit, brand new suit, for 20 US dollars? So that's the difference. That's where the dollar has lost value. And then we have, so this thing, inflation, that we're talking about is basically another hidden tax. You know, people are already working 3 to 4 months a year for taxes for their nation in the United States. And then you can throw in all this inflation, which is just another hidden tax. And the dollar has been consistently losing value. And now that we are where we are, this is why we're experiencing all this. And now the news is trying to put a better spin on this, but there's a big disconnect. When you have high numbers of unemployment and the stock market still continue to go up and hit all-time highs, and then we see that the growth of our nation we haven't been producing like we had in the past. So we haven't completely recovered from everything in 2020. With that being said, we should be in a lot dire of an economic situation. And there was already indicators that we were going to be hitting a recession. But with everything that's going on, it's looking like it's going to be a severe depression. And as it says here with the stores of value, the gold and other precious metals are good stores of value because their shelf lives are essentially perpetual. You can always exchange out. You can always use gold and silver, and they maintain the value. If you look at what happened in 2008 or even March of 2020, gold and silver did get hit because everything gets hit when the markets go down. But when things started to recover, it was gold and silver that started to maintain their value. It's where you could have preserved your wealth, your savings, things to that effect. Okay, so we talked a little bit about inflation and deflation. A lot of people kind of get what inflation is. Prices are just going up. The cost of goods and services go up. And a lot of it has to do with all the money printing. As I showed, it was more than 20%, but 20 to 25% of our money supply was printed up in the year 2020. And we haven't really felt the effects and the pain of that yet. Hyperinflation occurs when the increase in monthly price exceeds 50% over some period of time. These periods of rapid price increase, kind of lost my track. I'm looking at two different screens. These periods of rapid price increases are often accompanied by a breakdown in the underlying real economy and may also see a sudden increase in the money supply, which we're seeing a sudden increase in the money supply. So you can look at Zimbabwe and Venezuela as examples. And on my YouTube channel, I put out a video when I went to Miami. See if we can find it real quick. And I encourage you to check it out if you haven't already seen it, because it shows the examples of the money in Venezuela and how little of value that it has. Where is this video? Fiat money is dead. And in this, there's a garbage can, big, huge dumpster full of $50 Bolivar notes, which would be like our $50 bill here. But those bills, because of hyperinflation and money printing and their monetary policy in Venezuela, have lost so much value due to hyperinflation that this entire dumpster wasn't even worth more than 20 US dollars. And there was thousands of $50 bolivars, just to give you an example. So hyperinflation is a term to describe rapid, excessive, and out of control general price increases in an economy. While inflation is a measure of the pace of rising prices for goods and services, hyperinflation is rapidly rising inflation, typically measured more than 50% per month. So that would be like your cost of your groceries within a 30-day period, doubling, going up at least 50% in cost. So what would have cost you $100 will now cost you $150. And then it just exceeds and it perpetuates. And there's a lot of economists that are saying that we could be going into a hyperinflationary period. If you're coming from BitBoy Cryptos around the blockchain, he talked about deflation. So deflation, it's almost where they're taking money out of the market and not allowing as much money for growth. And I'll explain a little bit more about that. So students, more often than not, are quick to learn the definitions of inflation and deflation. And let's see here. Here's a disinflation. Okay, so deflation occurs when too many goods are available or when there's not enough money circulating to purchase those goods as a result of the price of goods and services dropping. So now we're seeing kind of the quantitative easing kind of dissipate. We're not seeing stimulus checks being given out by the government. Now there's higher tax proposals. So all that money that people thought was being printed up and was going to be free is going to be somehow paid for in our tax money. And that's what they're expecting. I mean, Democrats are even talking about taxing on unrealized capital gains, which is insane to think about. So that way they would, if your house goes up in value and you don't sell your house, you're still responsible in paying the taxes on the gains of said house, even though you didn't sell it. And that works for stocks, that works for cryptocurrencies and things to that effect. So basically, I think, and I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but the Federal Reserve is going to try to take money out of circulation and try to reduce the money supply, therefore deflating the situation to try to combat all the inflation. But a lot of other economists are saying that they can't do this because as much as they keep pushing into the system to inflate it, which is what you're seeing with the stock market, they have to continue this or it's just going to crumble. So, but again, ways you can protect yourself are things like precious metals. And then if you have the money and things to that effect, you can also look into cryptocurrencies. This is not financial advice. I always encourage people to do their own due diligence. I've got lots of videos available and I recommend lots of other channels that can help you out in these manners as well. So you're going to hear a lot of talk about deflation. In addition to the deflation stuff, you're going to hear about this disinflation. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean up or down. This is just a reduction or a slowing of the inflation rate. In other words, the price level is increasing, but at a decreasing rate. So I know that may not make any sense, but it's staggered out. It's not as fast as a hyperinflation. So when you're hearing economists talk about disinflation, we experience disinflation a lot more than we experience deflation or inflation, where it's just staggered amounts over a smaller period of time. So really just try to, as best as possible when it comes to disinflation. Another person who teaches this really well, I recommended him already, is George Gammon. But it's a way that there's another article here that explains it really well too. Okay. So deflation is a decrease in general price levels throughout an economy, while disinflation is what happens when price inflation slows down temporarily, or it could increase temporarily. Deflation, which is the opposite of inflation, is mainly caused by shifts in the supply and demand. So now we're not, in case people are unaware of this, we're not producing as many goods as we had the year previous due to everything that occurred. And so henceforth, there's not going to be as much of a supply of things available, which is also why some people are talking about a supply chain shock. So deflation is a drop in the general price levels in an economy, while disinflation occurs when price inflation slows down temporarily. And that could be what ends up happening when they're trying to do the deflation, because it says deflation, which is harmful to an economy, can be caused by a drop in the money supply, government spending, consumer spending, or corporate investments. And that's basically what they're talking about doing, is reducing the money supply, reducing government spending, taking in more taxation, and then obviously we're seeing corporate investments with all the bailouts that have been going on. Central banks will fight disinflation by expanding its monetary policies and lowering interest rates. And this goes into Keynesian economics, which it's spelled Keynesian, Keynesian economics. And you can look at that versus the Austrian School of Economics. Disinflation can be caused by a recession or a central bank tightens its monetary policy. So because the Federal Reserve is talking about deflationary events, as opposed to us experiencing full-on deflation, we could be experiencing disinflation. The key differences, the two terms sound very similar. Deflation and disinflation refer to two very different conditions with respect to their direction and change in the general price levels in the U.S. economy. Deflation refers to falling prices. In other words, the opposite of inflation, which is rising prices. Disinflation doesn't refer to the direction of the prices as inflation and deflation too. It refers to a rate of change. It's a slowdown in the rate of inflation. For example, deflation would be an inflation rate of minus 1%, while disinflation would be the change in the inflation rate from the 3% 1 year to 2% in the next. If that gives you a little bit better of an idea. And like I said here, it does say it occurs more commonly than deflation. And some disinflation is good for the economy and the markets. Deflation can cause the stock market to perform poorly because it can signal a recession. Now, when it comes to the idea of a recession, and I've spoken about this in other videos, in 2019, we had the inverted yield curve. Now, I encourage you to read this article from theindependent.org. When we experience an inverted yield curve, it's 100% signaling recession within a year. Now, this was in 2019. I think it was like late summer, early fall, if I'm not mistaken. Now, conveniently, we had the pandemic happen in early 2020. So we already knew that the effects of 2008, along with the inverted yield curve, where we were heading. But it just so happens that we had this pandemic take place and basically became a scapegoat for all the financial problems that we have. Everything is being blamed on COVID-19 when everything that we've had economically as a problem existed prior to that. The other thing I wanted to mention, and Andy, I think it's Andy Lee. Let me go back to the chat and make sure I have that correct. And then I'll come back to the chat and see what everybody is saying, because I appreciate everybody tuning in. Yes, Andy Lee suggested that I talk a little bit about stagflation. So stagflation is characterized by slow economic growth, which we are definitely experiencing, and relatively high unemployment, which we are experiencing, or organic or economic stagnation, which at the same time period accompanied by rising prices, inflation, which is what we're experiencing. Stagflation can be alternately defined as a period of inflation combined with a decline in GDP, or gross domestic product. Now, we're obviously, the end of the year fiscal report for the government comes out on the 30th of September. The end of the fiscal year, it says it can start from January to December, but the end of the fiscal year is the 30th. Yeah, from October 1st to September 30th is the fiscal year for the U.S. federal government. So the reports come out on the 30th of this month, about 2 weeks away. And you can find this information at the treasury.gov financial reports of the United States government. Again, comes out in about 2 weeks on the 30th of September. So the inverted yield curve, it was signaling a recession. Now, considering everything that's gone on since that inverted yield curve, recession would have been nice, but I think that we're going to be experiencing something worse than the Great Depression. They've already talked about that in the mainstream news already. So again, how can you protect yourself from something like this? I mean, you can invest in barterabilities if you can't afford gold and silver. If you can't afford to invest in cryptocurrencies, barterables, things that you could think of that people would want, that you could trade: toiletries, alcohol, tobacco, foods, water, toilet paper. We saw how valuable the commodity toilet paper became. So there are ways that you can protect yourself, and these stores of value don't have to be just what you're seeing here. A commodity is everything I just listed: bullets, ammunition, things to that effect can act as a store of value. It can act as a way for you to be able to trade. So don't think that if you can't invest in gold and silver, that all hope is lost, because that's not the case at all. But again, I do recommend that you check out Mike Maloney's Hidden Secrets of Money. It's a 10-part series. I definitely encourage you to watch that. Listen to Lynette Zhang. Go in my playlist section. I have a Lynette Zhang playlist. I have a George Gammon playlist of interviews with him and with her. I have an economics playlist, and also have a playlist with Money Metals Exchange with the CEO that you can check out so you can get some more information. We kind of go into more detail in regards to the economic subject, and it seems like a really boring topic, but it's a really important topic. And Mike Maloney also released a video that is called "What is the Fed Hiding?" And it's a really good video, and people should check it out. I'm going to try to play this commercial once again from Money Metals Exchange and hope that this plays through. And then I want to check the comments and see where we're at. Take advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. Get your free half ounce of silver. All you need to do is be a first-time buyer. Visit moneymetals.com, purchase a minimum of $100, and use the promo code RICE. You get that free half ounce of silver, and it's another way to support the channel. Man, it's just, I don't know what it is. It seems like something is wrong. I don't know if it's a StreamYard issue, the service that I'm using to live stream, but take advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. And if you're interested in crypto, I do offer consultations. Let me go ahead and throw that up real quick. So people, if you're interested, here's the information. Here's how you can contact me, and there's the rates and all that good stuff. So if you're interested in a crypto consultation, hit me up. Also, make sure you're taking advantage. Here's all the information for my Money Metals Exchange partnership. Get a free half ounce of silver. When you do this, it's a way for you to hedge against this inflation, deflation, disinflation, stagflation, all this stuff that's coming. It's a way to protect yourself. It's a way to protect your family. Make sure you're doing your research, because this isn't financial advice. I'm trying to provide enough information so that you can make an educated decision that works best for you, because everybody's situation is different. But take advantage, get that free half ounce of silver. You support the channel. If you'd like to contribute, I got information down below with my PayPal, Cash App, crypto addresses, and such. You can also join my Patreon channel. There's some free videos. Let me go ahead and do a quick screen share with that real quick. Okay, so here we are. I'm off screen for a moment. So going to Patreon. So I recorded a video while I was at the beach. Really cool video. It's free. It's called Take Time. Make sure you check that out. There's other free videos here as well, so make sure you check it out. The Freedom Spotlights are there, and other content as well. And it's a way that you can support the channel directly. There's 3 different levels of membership that you can take advantage of. Also, make sure that you follow me on BitChute and on Odyssey. These are linked down below. Be sure you follow me on the backup channel, Rice TVX2, the sequel. Got that Freedom Spotlight with Real Spiritual Gangster. Another one with E3. This video with Eric from Kool-Aid. There's also some other videos that you're not going to see on my main YouTube channel either. So make sure you're subscribed to both Rice TVX and Rice TVX2. Make sure you check out all the information that I provided in today's video. Links are down below so that you can do your own research. It's really important that you educate yourself. I just try to help provide as much information to empower and help educate other people, just so you guys can make better decisions. I'm pretty much all invested in crypto and gold and silver, and a lot of what I do, I get paid in those methods as well, which is an absolute blessing in and of itself. So let me go ahead and check out the comment section. Oh, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a video about ivermectin. I did some research on that, so I want to be doing a video. Dr. Rice will be in the house for a Dr. Rice report. So we're going to be doing that, and going to be doing a crypto rewind on Friday, and I got some other content coming out, and I've got some stuff that I'm planning for the next few weeks, and all that good stuff. So make sure you stay tuned. And real quick, just going to go see what we got going on in the comments. Hope that I helped you with that, Andy. Thank you for that recommendation for the stagflation. Again, Mama Bear, thank you. Carlos Magina, appreciate you popping over from around the blockchain, and thank you for the compliment. And I appreciate you say that you like that I cover more than just crypto. I started out as a crypto channel pretty much, and I was covering a few other things, and then I branched out, and it's been awesome. It's been very cool. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about with BitBoy Crypto, check out BitBoy Crypto's channel. It's one of the largest crypto channels on YouTube, and I get to go on there weekly, and I'll be on there again Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Again, the vacation was great. I think this is Rob Code 28. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. That's not a word that I like to use. There's a lot of people who are slow, who aren't using their brain, who aren't doing their own research, just believing what they're being told and not questioning anything. Nick Gonzalez. I'm sorry I said Nicholas. Thank you. Mr. X Lesh Shaurian, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate. Yeah, if we could audit the Fed right now, the Fed is unauditable. It's pretty crazy. So I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. JVF Mastering. Yes, 100%. Lynette and George are rocking, super cool people. No comment. No comment, but I love you, brother. So let's see here. Got a silver medal, a kilo on down last week. 999 silver bar was best deal out there. Sweet. Definitely make sure you're taking advantage. Mama Bear, appreciate you for tuning in. It's good to be back. Good to be back from vacation. Good to be back here with all y'all. With all y'all. I sound really country. I'm from the DC metropolitan area, and I moved to North Carolina. I've been down here for 20 years, and every once in a while I'll catch myself saying something that sounds real country fried. So yeah. I got to talk to Ethan. I'm not sure about this Sunday. It may be, I think I have family plans this coming Sunday, which is the reason why we were waiting a little bit. But just stay tuned, Travis. Ethan should be back 100%. And M, love you, brother, man. We'll have to catch up soon. I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, be sure you subscribe. Both channels, all my social media links. Sign up for my mailing list. Take advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. And we're going to go ahead and end this bad boy off with this BitBoy with this BitSwap DEX pre-roll, and then I want to play my Rice TVX promo to end things off. Much love.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
Now, see, that played through with no issues. So let's hope this one plays through. I appreciate you guys. Much love. If this just happens to be your first time ever watching any of my videos, I do encourage you to check out and explore my channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos as they come out. Also, due to all the recent censorship, make sure you subscribe to my backup channel, Rice TVX2, the sequel. And I've also recently deleted more than half of my videos on my main YouTube channel, which means you can find 100% of my content plus exclusive videos over on Odyssey and Library. If you haven't already, be sure to visit ricetvx.com and sign up for the mailing list so that you never miss an update or new Rice TVX content. You can also find all my social media links as well as merchandise that is coming soon. If you'd like to support the channel directly, consider joining my Patreon, where I have 3 different levels of membership, or if you'd like to send a direct contribution or tip, I have my Cash App information, PayPal, and my CoinTree link for cryptocurrency addresses listed below in the video description. Take advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. Get your free half ounce of silver. All you need to do is be a first-time buyer, visit moneymetals.com, purchase a minimum of $100, and use the promo code RICE. You get that free half ounce of silver, and it's another way to support the channel.